Welcome to the Camo Monster. In the last video, we have learned about the calculation of the theoretical number of mass transfer stages. But we have missed the hydrodynamic part. Actually, first I want to tell is the hydrodynamic base concept or hydrodynamic design is based on the flow rates of liquid and the capacity of a column, tower, or an equipment to handle the fluids that are moving inside it. So most of the times, whether it is a absorber, a distillation column, a mixer, or a liquid-liquid extractor, you will see the hydrodynamic design having the same equations, and it will be discussed further in other designs. So first of all, to start the hydrodynamic design, you have to calculate the height of tower. Like you have to multiply a factor here specified in my literature reference 2.3 times the actual number of plates. It's like my actual number of plates that are calculated to be by Lewis Matheson method is equal to 13.37. So my height of tower will be equal to the 2.3 times 13, which will be equal to the 30 feet or 9.14 meter. These are the following parameters that we have to assume before starting our hydrodynamic design. Like we have to consider plate spacing, which is 600 millimeter here, and 24 inches. Okay, 600 millimeter is equal to 24 inches. The vapor velocity can be calculated using the formula 1.2 divided by square root of density of vapor. So vapor velocity is a function of density of vapors. Now we have another parameter which is called the capacity parameter, and it generally or it logically tells the capacity of a column or tower to hold the flow rate of a fluid, whether it is liquid or gas. The rho g is density of gas, Vp is vapor velocity, which is calculated using the formula denoted in this cell. Then we have to find out the surface tension between the interface of our liquid and the gas. Because the gas has to pass through the liquid or to bubble through the liquid, so the surface tension will have an important role in the calculation of the velocity that a gas or vapor can achieve inside the column. So the tray type has to be selected like defined before in distillation column design basics. We have selected the valve trays type design, which are for the medium entrainment and high turn down ratio. Like for the calculation of the flooding velocity, so you can estimate a design velocity from the flooding. You can use this capacity parameter graph. From this graph, you can see at the x-axis it is called the flow parameter, and on the y-axis CF it is called the capacity parameter feet per second. The holdup flowing through the column feet per second, the liquid or gas holdup actually. From the plate spacing, like we have selected the 600 millimeter plate spacing or 24 inch, we can first calculate the flow parameter using the Fair equation. There are more than one or two equations that are available in the literature, but it depends on the type of graph. Like I have used here the Fair equation from the Colson and Richardson Book of Chemical Engineering Volume 2. For calculating the FLG flow parameter using L over V. L is the liquid flow rate kilomole per hour or kilomole per second, and V is the vapor flow rate in kilomole per hour or kilomole per second, whatever. You have to maintain the consistency of units out there. Rho V is the density of vapor and rho L is the density of liquid, and it is actually square root power 0.5. Now the flooding, the CF can be calculated from the graph. For example, here I get my parameter 0.08. So I can move up to the plate spacing 24 inch and I can see my CF flow parameter is 0.35 approximately. So from the using this formula, I have CSFBF, I have the surface tension, I have densities of both liquid and vapors. If it is mixture, you have to calculate the average density of vapor or liquid. If these are multi-components on both sides. Now, if you have calculated the flooding velocity, like here it is 0.813, you can calculate the design velocity, which can be, sometimes it is taken 70% to the flooding velocity, the maximum velocity at which flooding can happen inside the column. And sometimes you can take it to be 80% of the flooding velocity. After taking, like here, 80%, you can get the design velocity 0.65. You have to keep it minimum below the flooding point. So the maximum vapor flow rate next to be calculated, which is equal to the volumetric flow rate of the gas or the vapors multiply average molecular mass of the gas stream if it is multi-component mixture, again clearing the concept, divided by the density of vapor. So we get the maximum vapor flow rate that have to be passed through the column, and it is based on the material balance, not based on the design. Now the net area required based on our vapor flow rate will be equal to the simple formula of continuity. Q is equal to AV, area multiplied velocity. So area will be equal to the flow rate divided by velocity, and here it is calculated to be 5.081 meters square. Now the total cross section area with 10% top and bottom seal area clearance or addition, we can get, dividing it by 0.9, we get 5.646, because 10% you can multiply the area with 1.1 or 0 or divide it by 0.9. It's the same things on the both ends. Now the provisional plate design will be justified here. Like you have calculated the column diameter from the above calculations, like column diameter is equal to area is equal to pi r square. You have calculated the area above, and from a is equal to pi r square you can calculate the radius and then convert it into the diameter. Diameter is equal to 2 times radius. Here you have to write down the column diameter. The cross section area, the total cross section area of the column will be equal to the pi by 4 d square. The pi by 4 d square from this area comes out to be 5.63, which is same as the total cross section area. I have calculated it again for the rechecking. The downcomer area, in the most common cases, sometimes it is taken as 10% of the total area, sometimes 15% or sometimes 20%. Like in this case, I have taken the total downcomer area 10% of my column cross section area. The net area will be equal to the, that is available for the plate, will be equal to the total area minus the downcomers, because in the downcomers there is empty space at which the liquid or vapor are flowing upwards or downward, and there is no plate side available. So the net area will be equal to the total cross section area minus the downcomer area. The weir length should be assumed, or it have to be assumed from the literature. Like here it is 1.9564 meters square, and it is taken to be 0.73, 0.75, sometimes 80% of your weir height. Like here 40 millimeter, the 0.73 you can estimate it to be 73% of the weir height. The active area is represented here 4.5. It is available in literature, and like it is mentioned here, the active area is equal to the A total area of cross section AT minus 2 multiply AD, area of the downcomer. The area of downcomer was 10%, so from subtracting both terms you can calculate the active area at which the actual mass transfer is taking place. So the next thing, we have to assume the hole diameter. Like here we have assumed the 12 millimeter hole diameter. Now we have to check for the V page. For the V page, first you have to calculate the maximum liquid flow rate, which is equal to the flow rate of the liquid inside your column based on the material balance. The minimum liquid flow rate will be, from the literature references, 60 to 70% of the maximum flow rate. So here I have taken the 70% of maximum flow rate. From the maximum weir crust or weir head, like you can say, the formula is equal to 750 multiply LWC over LW multiply rho L, the density of liquid, raised to the power 2 over 3. Here LWC is the maximum liquid flow rate, while the rho L is the density of the liquid, and LW is your mass flow rate through the plate, that is defined above based on the whole area. It is based on the whole area, this mass flow rate is. So the maximum weir height or head is calculated out to be 48.34 in this case. Now the same justification can be used for the minimum weir crust, like you have to replace the LWC, in which you have used the maximum liquid flow rate by minimum liquid flow rate, and the change will change your weir crust or head to about minus 10, 48 to 38. It is reduces by 10. From the graph, you have to find out the relation of K2, which have in the literature you have read about it in the orifice coefficient section. Like, it actually behaves as the orifice coefficient because there is an active area which is larger than the fluid passes through a orifice, a hole, which is actually smaller in size. So there will be a pressure drop. So this is the relation available. We have HW and HOW. Like, we can add both, and we can see the total is 78.32 in this case. And from the graph, using the curve, we can see the K2 coefficient is actually 30.8 or 9, 30.6, like here in this case. So using this relation, dH is the diameter of hole, you can calculate the minimum velocity of the minimum velocity of the vapor through the column that is required to prevent the weeping. It is actually, you can see it is larger than the velocity that is calculated above, because this velocity demands the high flow rate of the vapor to contain the liquid on the plates, so that the weeping or leaking of the liquid through the hole corners or edges do not take place. So actual minimum vapor velocity will be 70% of Qmax. Like here it is defined 70% of Qmax over AH, area Q over A is equal to 4.33 meter per second. Actual vapor flow rate, which is defined based on your material balance, and AH is the area of the downcomer. Because the most of the liquid or vapor are moving through the downcomer, and only a holdup of liquid is set upon the active area. So the flow rate is actually will be based on the downcomer here. Now, but it will not play any important part in the weeping, because the downcomer do not involve the plate area or holes, so the area is a free space, so it is calculated separately, this velocity. In the last, we have to calculate the pressure drop. The Umax has been calculated using your vapor flow rate and area of the downcomer AH. Using this relation, you can calculate the maximum dry plate pressure drop. Like I have calculated, C naught is the coefficient, orifice coefficient, C naught, and most of the time it is taken as 0.8 or 0.85. So using this formula, you can calculate the maximum dry plate pressure drop. So here in this case, you see it is 9.57. The residual head can be calculated using this formula, where rho L is density. It is calculated to be 61.2144. The total pressure drop is sum of all the heads that are calculated above. So it comes out to be 149.1044 millimeter liquid. Now in terms of PSI, I have to convert this pressure drop in millimeter liquid into the kilopascal. The relation is equal to the 1 kilopascal is equal to 122 millimeter liquid, and you can convert the pressure drop in the kilopascals on or PSI based on this. Now for the plate thickness and hole pitch. For triangular pitch, you can find out this relation. IP is the pitch, that is defined before when starting the design, like a selection of design parameter, and the plate thickness will be equal to the 0.4 times, 40 times or 30 times sometimes of the whole diameter. So it comes out here to be 2.4 millimeter. Also, here you can see this relation is available. 1 over 2 plate spacing plus wear height is equal to 320 millimeter. Now our design criteria is set like 150 millimeter, 149 millimeter. So this equation, the values comes out to be 320 millimeter. So my head that is required on the plate is larger than the minimum limit, so my design criteria is satisfied, or there will be less weeping or entrainment will take place on the plate. So that is enough for the hydrodynamic design of a distillation column. So stay happy, stay blessed, and stay with us. Thank you.